Hi and welcome to my video about my visa appointment down in London. So if you've made it down to this point, you've booked your appointment at the US Embassy and you've needed to go down to your nearest US Embassy. For me, this was London, so what I did to get down there to make it slightly cheaper, because none of this has been cheap for the visa side. Instead of jumping on a train, which probably would have cost me about £200, I'd say, I jumped in a coach for 6 hours, which cost me £11 altogether each way. So when you've booked your appointment, you've been given a time. For example, mine was 8 o'clock. And in the information that was sent to me after I booked my appointment, I needed to be there half an hour before to go through security and line up and everything. And they told me to make sure I had all of my documents needed. So from the DS 2019, my passport, which, just to let you know, you needed to have at least 6 months left on your passport. And you needed your camp contract, I think it was, as well. Any information that will help you show where you're going and why you're going, and evidence to show that you are coming back to the country. When I first arrived at the embassy, I nearly panicked and ran the other way because it just seemed really big, both in the big building, and this is a huge thing I'm doing. I'm going into an actual legal building where people stood outside. I think I saw a man with one of the big guns they carry, and just even going through the security where they took my bag off me because I stayed overnight at my aunt's, and I had literally everything with me, from my tablets and everything, and they made me turn off my phone, I think it was, turn on my tablet that was already off to make sure there's nothing on it, and put my bag through the scanner to make sure there's nothing on it. So it's basically going through an airport security. And then once I was through security, I was then transferred to another line into another building where they just basically stamp your DS 2019 and make sure you filled in little bits at the bottom of your name, where you live, and you've signed it and dated it. And then you're once again transferred upstairs, where you're then given another number, and you sit and wait till you hear that number. But just warning you, do listen and do watch for your number, because it happens fast, and once it's gone, and you need to wait all over again for it to be your number again. So then you go to your window where they take your fingerprints. You explain where you're going, who you are, basically details. Then you're told to go sit back down in another area of the room and wait again for your number, which I was like, oh, another waiting, okay. So then, of course, I do that because I do what I'm told. So I sit down, wait for my number again, then go up with all the forms they had given me as well in the little form bag they gave me, because Naomi had lose it. So I go up, give over the information, my passport as well, go over all the details again. I'm Gemma. I live here. I'm going to summer camp here, and then flying back from this airport as my proof that I'm coming back to the UK. And then they tell you there and then if you've got your application all correct, and then you're being approved your visa. So thankfully I was approved my visa and told it would take around, I think it was 2 to 5 days for it to come back in the post to you. But instead of coming back to your house, they send it to like another building nearer to you, where then you go pick it up. So the actual appointment at the embassy wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. before walking into it, I'd built up that they're going to be stood at the desk, really stern and everything, asking tiny little questions that I probably didn't know the answer to, and I felt I'd probably mess everything up. But it was literally very informal, you could say. You just stood at a desk there behind the screen and you're just talking with them. Very minimal questions, you could say. And then it was all done, I'd say probably in half an hour to an hour, I'd say, with the waiting in time, because I'd say the waiting took more time than the actual talking to the people and then being approved for my visa. So basically, just don't panic about your appointment. It's going to be absolutely fine, and enjoy your time in London whilst you're there. Because after I had my appointment, I just walked along the river for a while, found somewhere to have some lunch, and just did my time till I was able to get back on my coach and go home. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's helped go in a bit more detail about the actual embassy appointment, and hopefully not made you as scared about the appointment as I was before I walked into it. So I'll see you all next time. Bye!